The notification lit up my phone at 2:47 a.m. I'd been awake anyway, staring at the ceiling of my Toronto apartment, unable to sleep. When I saw it was a voice message from my brother, I almost ignored it. Almost. But something made me tap play. "Dude, she's literally sending money again." Tyler's voice came through, followed by that distinctive snicker I'd grown up hearing. "I swear, Mira's like our personal ATM. Just gotta send a sad text and boom, $500. She doesn't even question it anymore." The audio kept playing. I could hear our mom laughing in the background. Well, she makes good money at that tech company, and she doesn't have kids or anything. What else is she going to spend it on? Right? Might as well keep it in the family. More laughter. The message ended. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the delete button, but I didn't press it. Instead, I saved it to my files, my heart hammering against my ribs. I'm Mira Chen. I'm 28 years old. I work as a software developer at a mid-sized tech firm in downtown Toronto, making decent money for someone my age. Nothing extravagant, but comfortable. I'd always been careful with finances, tracking every expense, building my savings, planning for the future. My brother Tyler is 24, fresh out of a college program he took 4 years to finish because he kept switching majors. He works at a gym as a personal trainer, mostly part-time, mostly whenever he feels like it. He lives with our mom in Mississauga, in the house where we grew up. Neither of them seemed particularly stressed about money, and now I understood why. That voice message played in my head on repeat for the rest of the night. Our personal ATM. Just send a sad text. She doesn't even question it anymore. The worst part? They were right. I didn't question it. When Tyler texted saying his car needed new brakes and he was short $400, I sent it within an hour. When Mom called about an unexpected dental bill, I paid it without hesitation. When they needed help with property taxes, groceries, Tyler's gym membership that he somehow couldn't afford despite working at a gym, I covered it all. I'd told myself it was what families did. You helped each other. You showed up when people needed you. But sitting there in the dark, listening to their laughter echo in my memory, I realized they didn't see it as help. They saw it as entitlement, as something they were owed. The next morning, I went through my banking app. Really went through it, pulling up transaction histories from the past 2 years. E-transfer after e-transfer. Mira to Tyler. Mira to Mom. Amounts ranging from $50 to $800. I started calculating, my stomach sinking with every addition. $23,000. I'd given them $23,000 in 2 years, and I'd barely noticed because it came in small, frequent doses. A few hundred here, a couple hundred there. But it added up to more than I'd saved in my RRSP. More than I'd spent on rent in that same period. I sat at my kitchen table, coffee growing cold in front of me, and tried to remember the last time they'd asked how I was doing. Not how much I could send, but how I actually was. I couldn't. My phone buzzed, a text from Tyler. "Hey sis, can you spot me $300? Rent's due tomorrow and I'm short. We'll pay you back next month for sure." For sure. Like the 12 other times he'd promised to pay me back and never did. I stared at the message for a long time. My fingers moved automatically, starting to type. "Sure, no problem." But I stopped, deleted it. Something inside me had shifted during that sleepless night, listening to them laugh about how easy it was to take my money. I opened my mobile banking app and looked at my scheduled payments. The one that caught my eye was the automatic transfer I'd set up 6 months ago, sending $200 to Mom's account on the 1st of every month to help with utilities. I'd done it after she'd called crying about a disconnect notice from the electric company. The payment was scheduled to go through in 4 days. I canceled it. Then I typed a response to Tyler. "Sorry, things are tight this month. Can't help." It was a lie. I had plenty of money. But if I sent it now, nothing would change. They'd keep taking, I'd keep giving, and that voice message would keep playing in my head until I couldn't stand the sound of my own complicity. His response came fast. "Seriously? I'm gonna get hit with late fees." I didn't reply. Mom called an hour later. I let it go to voicemail. She called again 20 minutes after that. I ignored it again. On the 3rd call, I finally answered. "Mira, honey, did you see Tyler's message? He really needs help with rent." "I saw it." "Well, can you send him something?" "Even 200 would help." I told him no. There was a pause. "What do you mean no?" "I mean no, Mom. I can't keep doing this." "Doing what? Helping your family?" Her voice had that edge to it, the one that usually made me backtrack and apologize. Not this time. I've been sending money constantly for 2 years. Tyler's an adult. He needs to figure out his own rent. Mira, that's cruel. You know he doesn't make much at the gym. Then maybe he should work more hours, or get a second job. That's what I did when I was his age. You've always been better with money. Tyler's different. He needs more support. I almost laughed. Support? Is that what we're calling it? What's gotten into you? Everything. Nothing. A voice message sent by accident that showed me exactly what I was to them. I just can't right now, Mom. I have my own expenses. She was quiet for a moment, and I could practically hear her recalculating her approach. The utility payment didn't come through this month. The one you usually send. Was that a mistake? No mistake. I canceled it. Why would you do that? Because I've been paying part of your utilities for 6 months, Mom. You and Tyler both work. You can handle a $200 bill. Mira, we're barely making it as is. You know that. Then figure it out. Get a roommate. Have Tyler contribute more. I don't know. But it's not my responsibility anymore. I can't believe you're abandoning us like this. The word abandoning hit harder than I expected. But I held firm. I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm just not being your backup plan anymore. She hung up without saying goodbye. I sat on my couch, hands shaking, half expecting to feel guilty. Instead, I felt something that might have been relief. The next few days were strange. My phone stayed mostly quiet. No texts from Tyler asking for money. No calls from Mom checking in. No requests disguised as casual conversation. The silence felt pointed, deliberate. They were waiting for me to crack, to apologize, to transfer money and make everything go back to normal. I didn't. On day 5, Mom texted. Hydro sent a disconnect notice. We have until the 23rd to pay, or they're shutting off the power. We're short $340. Can you help just this once? Just this once. Like the 50 other times had never happened. I typed and deleted 3 different responses before settling on, I'm sorry you're dealing with that. Maybe Tyler can pick up extra shifts. Her reply was immediate. He works as much as he can. This is serious, Mira. We need your help. Have you asked Dad? You know your father doesn't have money to spare. Have you asked anyone else in the family? Why should I have to? You're my daughter. And there it was. The expectation, the assumption that my money was somehow communal property because we shared DNA. I can't help this time, Mom. She didn't respond after that. I told my coworker Jasmine about it during our lunch break 2 days later. We'd gotten close over the past year, bonding over being 2 of the only women in our development team. She listened to the whole story without interrupting, her expression shifting from surprise to something that looked like recognition. Oh, wow, she said when I finished. How do you feel about it? Honestly? I keep waiting to feel guilty, but mostly I just feel angry. And maybe a little free? That makes sense. They were taking advantage. But they're my family. So? Family doesn't get a free pass to drain your bank account. She leaned forward. My sister did the same thing to me for years. Always needed money for emergencies that were somehow never her fault. I finally cut her off when I realized she spent more on takeout than I did on groceries, then called me broke shaming her when I said no. What happened? She figured it out. Got a budget, got serious about work, stopped treating me like a bank. It took about 6 months of her being mad at me. But we're actually closer now because the relationship isn't built on money anymore. I wanted to believe it could work out like that. But I couldn't shake the feeling that this was different, that my family would just freeze me out permanently. The disconnect date came and went. I didn't hear from Mom or Tyler. I drove past the house one evening, unable to stop myself from checking. It was dark. Every window black, no porch light, nothing. They'd actually let it get shut off. My chest tightened. This was real. This was actually happening. When I got home, I found a text from my Aunt Linda, Mom's sister. Your mother told me what's going on. I'm disappointed in you, Mira. Family helps family. They're struggling because of you. Because of me. Like I was the one who'd created this situation, not the one who'd been propping it up for years. I didn't respond to Linda. But 3 other relatives reached out over the next week, each one with some version of the same message. How could I abandon my family in their time of need? Didn't I care? Wasn't I ashamed? The guilt started creeping in then, not because I thought I was wrong, but because the collective weight of family disapproval was crushing. Maybe I was being selfish. Maybe I should have just kept sending money and kept my mouth shut. Then I listened to the voice message again. Our personal ATM. She doesn't even question it anymore. That snicker. That casual cruelty. The way they'd laughed about how easy it was to take from me. No. I wasn't being selfish. I was being sane. 2 weeks after the power got shut off, Tyler called. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. What do you want? Jesus, hello to you too. He sounded tired. Look, can we talk? Isn't that what we're doing? In person. Please? We met at a coffee shop near Yonge and Eglinton. He looked different somehow. Older, maybe. Or just more worn down. Mom told me you won't help anymore, he started. That's right. Why? I pulled out my phone and played the voice message. Watched his face go pale as he listened to himself laugh about using me. That was meant for Mom, he said weakly. I know. You sent it to me by accident. Mira. I was joking around. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. You meant every word. And you know what? You were right. I didn't question it. I just kept giving you money because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. But I'm done now. We needed that money. No, you wanted it. There's a difference. You're 24 years old, Tyler. You work at a gym. You live rent-free with Mom. You should be able to handle basic expenses. It's not that simple. It literally is. You just don't want it to be because having me as a backup is easier than being responsible. He stared into his coffee cup. The power got shut off for 3 days before Mom could borrow money from Linda to get it turned back on. 3 days, Mira. We had no lights, no internet, no way to cook. And whose fault is that? Yours. You've always paid that bill. Exactly. I paid it. For 6 months. Your utility bill, not mine. A bill for a house I don't even live in. You thought I'd always cover it. You thought I was predictable. You literally said it in that voice message. He couldn't meet my eyes. I'm sorry. Are you sorry you said it, or sorry I heard it? He didn't answer. I've sent you and Mom over $23,000 in the past 2 years, Tyler. Did you know that? $23,000. That's more than I've saved. That's money I could have used for a down payment on a condo, or travel, or literally anything for myself. But instead, I gave it to you because every time you asked, you made it sound like an emergency. Some of them were emergencies. Were they? Or were they just things you didn't want to pay for yourself? He rubbed his face. What do you want from me? Nothing. That's the point. I don't want anything from you. I just want you to stop expecting everything from me. We sat in silence for a minute. Finally, he said, Mom's really mad at you. I figured. She says you've changed, that you're being selfish. Maybe I am. Or maybe I'm just tired of being used. He left without finishing his coffee. That night, I got a Facebook message from Mom. A long paragraph about how hurt she was, how she'd raised me better than this, how family was supposed to come first. She brought up every sacrifice she'd made when Tyler and I were kids, every time she'd gone without so we could have what we needed. I read it twice, feeling that familiar guilt creep up my spine. She had sacrificed. She'd worked hard. She'd been a good mom in a lot of ways, but that didn't mean I owed her my financial future. I typed out a response, deleted it, typed another one, deleted that too. Finally, I just wrote, I love you, Mom, but I can't keep doing this. You and Tyler are both capable adults. You need to figure this out without me. Her reply came immediately. Then don't bother coming around anymore. If we're such a burden, maybe it's better if you just stay away. That one hurt more than I wanted to admit. A month passed. Then too. The silence from my family felt like a physical weight. I threw myself into work, picked up a new project, started going to the gym more. Tried to fill the space where their constant needs used to be. Then one Saturday morning, my doorbell rang. When I looked through the peephole, Tyler was standing there. I opened the door. What are you doing here? Can I come in? I let him in, wary. He looked around my apartment like he was seeing it for the first time, even though he'd been here dozens of times before. Nice place, he said. Thanks. I got a full-time job, at a different gym, better pay. And I'm taking on clients outside of work too. I waited. And I moved out. Got a basement apartment in Etobicoke with a roommate. It's small, but it's mine. That's good, Tyler. Mom's working more hours too. She got promoted to supervisor at her office. Why are you telling me this? He finally looked at me. Because I've been thinking about what you said. About being responsible. And you were right. I was using you. We both were. I felt something loosen in my chest. I listened to that voice message like 50 times after our coffee. Hearing myself laugh about taking your money, calling you an ATM. God, Mira. I sounded like such an asshole. You did. I know. And I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not sorry you heard it. Sorry I ever thought it was okay to treat you like that. I sat down on my couch. He stayed standing, shifting his weight. Is Mom still mad? I asked. She's coming around. Slowly. She knows she messed up. We both did. You were just always so reliable that we stopped seeing you as a person and started seeing you as a solution. That's exactly how it felt. I know. And it wasn't fair. He paused. I don't expect things to go back to normal. I just wanted you to know that I get it now. And I'm trying to do better. After he left, I sat in my quiet apartment and realized I believed him. Maybe not completely, not yet, but enough to feel something that might have been hope. 3 months later, Mom invited me to dinner. Just us, at her house. I drove to Mississauga with my stomach in knots, not sure what to expect. She'd made my favorite meal, butter chicken and naan from scratch. We ate mostly in silence at first, the awkwardness thick between us. The house feels empty without Tyler, she finally said. He told me he moved out. Into a basement apartment that probably has mold issues, knowing his luck. But he's paying for it himself, so I can't complain. She paused. I've been thinking about what you said, about enabling him. Yeah, you were right. I made everything too easy for him. For both of us. And then when you stopped, I got angry instead of looking at why you needed to stop. It wasn't about being mean, Mom. I know that now. At the time, it just felt like you were abandoning us. But you weren't. You were setting a boundary, and we were too used to not having any boundaries with you. I set down my fork. I gave you $23,000 in 2 years. Did you know that? Her eyes widened. That much? That much. I calculated it after I heard Tyler's voice message, talking about how I was your personal ATM. She winced. He told me about that message, about how you heard it. Were you there when he sent it? I was, and I'm ashamed to say I laughed. Because he was right. We did just expect you to handle things. And we never even thanked you properly, did we? No, you didn't. I'm thanking you now. And I'm apologizing. I took advantage of your kindness, Mira. I let Tyler take advantage of it too. We treated you like a resource instead of my daughter. Tears were streaming down her face, and I felt my own eyes getting wet. I love you, I said. I just couldn't keep lighting myself on fire to keep you warm. I understand that now, and I don't expect you to go back to how things were. I just hope maybe we can start over, build something healthier. We talked for 3 hours that night. Really talked, not just surface level catching up. She told me about therapy she'd started, about realizing she'd played favorites my whole childhood. I told her about the resentment I'd been carrying, about feeling invisible and used. It wasn't perfect. It didn't fix everything. But it was a start. 6 months after that voice message turned my life upside down, I stood in my apartment looking at a new notification on my phone. A text from Tyler. Job's going really well. Finally saved enough for first and last month's rent on a 1-bedroom. Moving next week. Want to come see it? I smiled and typed back. Sure. Proud of you. His response came fast. Thanks. For everything. Even when it didn't feel like it, you kicking our asses was the best thing that could have happened. I still had that voice message saved on my phone. Sometimes I listen to it, not out of anger anymore, but as a reminder. A reminder that boundaries weren't cruel, that saying no wasn't abandonment, and that the best revenge wasn't destruction. It was simply refusing to be used while watching the people you love either rise to meet your standards or reveal they never valued you beyond what you could provide. Tyler and Mom rose. They figured it out. They grew. And I learned that family wasn't about who bailed you out unconditionally. It was about who showed up with respect, with reciprocity, with genuine love instead of convenient need. The lights stayed on in their houses now, paid for by their own money, their own effort. And somehow, that made every dinner we shared, every text we exchanged, every moment we spent together worth more than all those thousands of dollars ever did. Because now when they said I love you, I knew they meant me, not my bank account, just me. And that, I realized, was worth fighting for.